Hello. This is the second installment of my series on me making a new army. And I have gone to the natural place to do that. That is Easy Army. I've posted a few times on the Bold Action Facebook forum and asked around about if I was doing a what if Czechoslovakian army, what should I do? And people suggested to me that I find Romanians. I had myself thought about maybe going like with one of the early war nations. There is the Western nations, Belgium and France, and there's of course the Nordic nations. Like Norway or Denmark, maybe Holland, the Netherlands. All of that might have been workable, but it didn't really represent what I thought would be a good idea and what I thought and felt like that the Czech army was in 1938. So I looked at what they had suggested. I looked at the Romanians, and they actually maybe have something that could work. The Romanian roster is pretty limited, as you can see. There are only very few mentions of Romania. They are in the armies of Italy and the Axis book, which is where we get the Romanian reinforced platoon, and they have a little bit of Stalingrad and Fortress Budapest, which I believe is the only place where the Romanian reinforced platoon got any extra units in Fortress Budapest. So I looked through that and came up with this list. And what really spoke to me was that if you look at Romanian tanks, here we go. They do have the Panzer 35 and 38Ts, and they call them Romanian, but they are not. They were Czechoslovakian made. So for me, that was like, oh yes, I can do this. I can totally do this. Because theme, right? Then this fits into it. This Panzer 35 and 38, they were the Czechoslovakian tanks. They were the tanks that the Germans later took and used. And if I look at what is available as infantry, then early war Romanian infantry, it's very large units, but they're all regulars. So that might reflect a Czechoslovakian army that is modern. It has the manpower in check, and it's all well trained. Being regular here. So I feel like going Romanian might be the best idea I can have. It's also quite limited because it is an early war army. So, for instance, there's no flamer slot here, and if I look at the transports, they have one choice, which is miscellaneous trucks. Interesting, right? The only bit I'm a bit concerned about is the armored car slot, where it has the Romanian slot has German materials like the 222 and the 223, which would definitely not be available to the Czechoslovakians in 38. The R1 tankette might be an idea, so I might look into whether or not this could actually be a thing. When these tankettes were produced and where, so that I'm keeping sort of my theme for at least thematic events. The next video I'm going to do about this will be non-thematical and will be about how to make this slightly competitive if I'm taking them to a tournament at any one point. So what I'm looking to do is for a list where I'm just going with theme. I might go first or second lieutenant, and I'm going to buy them regular with a helper like that. Then I'm going to look at infantry squads. There's a lot of different stuff here. We can have motorized infantry, which can have Panzerfaust and stuff. So that is definitely not for my theme of 1938. But the early war infantry section, as I talked about before, that seems to be where the jam is at. Now, I can have 14 regular rifles in an infantry squad. The NCO can have an SMG or a rifle. For theme, I think he will keep the SMG. Just why not? And I'll take 2 of these full strength squads, large chunky bits of infantry. That's a good place to start. That is the start of my thematic list. Then the tanks, and of course I'm going to have to go with the 35 regular Panzer. There we go. Another thematic choice here, right? One of the problems here is the Romanians have this rule that they can have German allies, which of course my Czechs cannot do. But I can use that to fill out this roster with something that the Czechoslovakians would have had access to, but that I can't really get in this Romanian. So keeping to the rules still, this is like fake Romanians, right? So I'm taking a German reinforced platoon here, going in, finding, and I am going to go and look at armored cars. Because one of the things that I bought was I bought a motorcycle. And I know that the Czechoslovakians had access to motorcycles, especially early war. So I'm going to buy a motorcycle in the German list here. Of course, I'm going to paint it up as Czechoslovakian, but it doesn't really matter. Regular motorcycle with an MMG covering the front arc. Basic stuff for the early war. That is what I'm going to do. 40 points for that. Perfect. I'm still keeping to the rules. I'm doing exactly what I'm allowed to do here. Now, Romanians also have extra artillery. This sort of fits the theme that the Czechoslovakians were preparing in prepared positions. They had extra guns pointing at where they thought that the Germans would attack. What am I going to choose here? I'm going to choose a howitzer, a free regular medium howitzer. I'll add a spotter just because that will make it even more usable. And because I can, I'm going to take 2 pieces of medium artillery. Regular howitzer, spotter, there we go. I already bought 2 howitzers from Dinky Toys, so for my list and for my theme of using only antique toys, this is really easy to have 2 guns in this list. Should I have some toes though? I can have a horse-drawn limber, but that's not very thematic. It's more like then I'm being a cheesy git, aren't I? So maybe not do that. A sniper. I'll have a sniper. That is good for, and I'll keep to the theme of only buying regulars. I've been advocating for you can do something with regulars. Maybe I'll even get a medic. That's thematic. He would have a medic, right? Oh, he needs to be veteran. Okay, I can do that. I'll buy a medic. Some of the models that I'm buying are wounded men, so maybe have a little like thematic base with a hospital or something. That looks good. Now that's 696 points. More infantry, I guess. more early war infantry, full squads. Yes, of course, and we'll do that. And I even have points for one more. 4 big chunky groups of infantry. I like that. So, I think this will be the basis of my non-competitive, I'm just playing around list of Czechoslovakian early war. What if? Yeah, it is a bit good actually. Like these 4 huge chunk of regular rifles. That's 40. That's 52 men. Regular rifles, and the 2 artillery pieces are also quite good. I like the theme of the tank. It's not very competitive, but it's okay. And then the extra motorcycle. Yeah, that's really good. That will be my non-competitive Czechoslovakian list built as if they were Romanians. 11 order dice. I have a few points left over. Maybe I'll buy a tow for one of the artillery pieces. That's it. That is how you build a thematic list. Cheers.